What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is White Gamer, and we're officially 2 months into FC 26 clubs. So I wanted to make a video talking about the archetypes after playing the game for 2 months. We also did a community post, which we will show the results and go over some of you guys' feedback regarding the archetypes. So guys, EA introduced archetypes back in the summer when we had the pitch notes. There's 13, 3 for forward, 4 for midfielders, 4 for defenders, and 2 for keepers. And there's been a lot of mixed reviews on it, mostly negative. So we're gonna start off with some pros because I think there's only like a very few good things regarding the archetypes. I think one of the best things regarding the archetypes is that you can have as many regular playstyles as you like. So if you guys didn't know, if you looked at the playstyles last year in FC 25 and FC 24, you were capped out per section. For example, you couldn't have all the passing if you wanted on a specific build, or you couldn't have all of the ball control if you wanted on a specific build. You were capped out to 3 or 4 depending on your position in FC 25 and in FC 24. If you guys can see from this screenshot, you were limited to 2 or 3 playstyles, silver playstyles, depending on your position. At least this year, you can have, like I said, as many regular silver playstyles from the same category as you like, which I think it's a plus. It's a good thing. I think a lot of people didn't really realize that you can have, whichever one you want to suit your playstyle. I guess another good thing is that it does give the chance of people to try out different positions that they wouldn't normally try out. For me, as an example, I would have never used none of these other positions if I had to grind them individually. I would have just been using the boss and the progressor. So that's another good thing, I think, in my opinion, that allows people to try out different positions, try out different archetypes. Now, guys, let's go with the cons because there's a lot of cons. And the first one has to do grind them individually, having to grind out the archetypes individually. Now, I know a lot of people don't have the time to play this game every day. Most of you guys have school, have work, and you can only play for maybe an hour or two at most during the weekday, maybe a little bit more during the weekends. And I know it's very hard to grind these out, especially if you're starting from level 1. Even if you're starting from level 50, if you were playing the game since the game came out. But guys, yeah, I agree with you guys, man. Grinding these out individually is a pain in the butt. For me personally, I don't mind it because this is my job. But for the majority of you guys that don't have the time, grinding these out is very hard, especially since we don't have consumables, guys. We haven't gotten consumables in about 3.5 weeks, almost a month. At least the consumables made it easier to level up. These are some of the consumables that I have. I just stock them up so whenever they increase the level cap, we can hopefully use them. But yeah, it does make the leveling even harder and the grind even harder when you can't use consumables. At least that would help out a lot of people that didn't have the time to play with. So yeah, that's one of the cons for sure when it comes to these archetypes, having to grind it out individually. But EA did do that on purpose so they can keep people coming back to the game. And believe it or not, there's way more people playing clubs this year than in the previous years. Another thing is, guys, that you can't pick the playstyle plus that you want for your archetype. Now each archetype already comes with 2 default playstyle plus. One that you get at level 30, the other one you get at level 50. Now, that's a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that you can't have the playstyle plus that you prefer, and I also don't like it either. You can get some from the specialization, but most of these specializations are not that good. There's a few archetypes that have good specializations, and there's a few others that just don't have good specialization. So yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest concerns I've seen, that you just can't have any playstyle plus. But I think the main reason they did that is so people aren't running around with the same playstyle plus like in the previous years, where people would just run with the finesse shot plus, the rapid or the quick stat plus, aerial plus, and the finesse shot plus. I don't know if I said that already. So I think that's why they did that, guys. That's why each archetype has its 2 specific ones, and then it has specialization. Another thing is, guys, some people don't like that you can't use certain archetypes in different positions. Now, you technically can, guys. You can use literally any of these archetypes and any other positions you want. For me, for example, I've used most of these archetypes at CB, especially if you guys seen the stream where we were grinding the Maestro SCB just because I had to, because most people have Cam, or even sometimes a Striker SCB because most people. So you can, guys, you can use any of these archetypes out of the positions that they recommend. So you don't have to use, example, I've used a Spark at Striker. You don't have to use it just at Winger or Cam or wide mid. So don't go by the suggested position, guys. And even though the overall in that lobby might be different in game, your stats won't drop. So that's something I don't think a lot of people knew about, that you can just literally use any of these archetypes in whichever position. Now, guys, we did run a poll, and a lot of people voted in this poll. So thank you guys so much for voting. We're probably going to do some of these type of videos a little bit more frequently, where we, get your feedback, your input. So we asked 4 days ago, do you like the archetype system? 39% said yes, and 61% no. So more than half of the people that voted, so we had about 1,300 people voted. Again, thank you so much for voting. Don't like the new archetype system. So let's go look at some of them, some of the comments that people said. Let's zoom in on this a little bit more, hopefully to be more readable. The idea is good, but they can improve a lot. Specializations are often useless, strange combinations. Since when is Iniesta known for the whip pass? He never once made a cross in his life. Zidane with no power shot. Ronaldinho without the trickster plus. Yes, guys, this is actually a good comment by him. There's a lot of specializations that don't make sense for certain archetypes, and he gave really good example. Like Ronaldinho should definitely have the Trickster Plus. The Magician should have definitely have it. It's kind of weird that yeah, some of these don't make sense. It sounds like EA was in a rush making these specialization, and also sometimes like certain attributes that you have to spend in order to get that specialization makes no sense. I'm gonna see if I can find a good example. Let me see. Let's go over it really quick to the game, and let me see if I can find a specialization that you have to spend a lot of attributes in order to get, and it just makes no sense getting that specialization. For example, let's look at the Marauder. Like for example, okay, the Marauder's not a good example, but you guys know what I mean. There's a couple of archetypes, maybe the Finisher, that just makes no sense in getting the specialization, because you're just wasting your attribute points on, like this is a good example right here. The Relentless Plus. You need 92 stamina for the Finisher. Now, the stamina is pointless, but that's the point that person was trying to make as well. That some attribute values just make no sense in order to get it. Now, guys, let's go back to the thing. So yeah, this is definitely a good one. A lot of specializations don't make sense. I thought you hated it, but in theory, it's more. You like it more than last year. It's good that not everyone has all the meta playstyle. That's what we mentioned. That's one of the reasons why EA didn't give us the freedom to have any playstyle plus we want, because people would just use the meta playstyles. FC 26 does a decent job at spreading them around. Yes, some of the key attributes requirements for the specializations don't make sense either. That's literally what we just talked about. Some of the attributes that you need just don't make sense at all. And even some of the key attributes. Each archetype has like 4 key attributes that you don't have to upgrade, but that's what EA recommend. I could have multiple builds and level applies to all would be cool. I think this person meant if, instead of just grind them individually, if you can just grind them all at once, I think. So if you use the Magician, all the rest of them will level up. This person, I don't know what this person was trying to say. You can choose whatever playstyle plus you want. The need to make the leveling quicker, remove the stupid pay refund stat. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention, guys. It's super silly that you have to spend 5,000 coins to reset your archetype, and especially if you don't have a lot of coins, because that starts adding up. I've easily spent over 200,000 coins resetting the archetype for either for videos or just to switch up my archetype around to a specific position. They're also saying if we can have more than 2 playstyle plus, hopefully this year we do get a 3rd playstyle plus, guys, because the last 2 years we have not gotten, especially towards the end of the game cycle, close to the spring or summer, when the game starts to die out even more. That would be nice. It's really slow to upgrade your pro. It is, especially with no consumables. Like this person said, absolutely not. They don't like it. Playing in 2 leagues with your team, so at least 4 times a week I can't play your pro like he wants to. He wants to have a cam that has an incisive pass plus and the long ball pass plus. Yeah, like some of these archetypes, some of these playstyles that come with archetypes just don't make sense. Like I wish the creator, which is really popular as a cam, didn't have the inventive. Like long ball plus would have been good. But yeah, guys, that is some of the things some of the people said. Majority of people don't like it, which it makes sense. It's a grind. It's a pain in the butt to grind all these individually. And overall, let me know what you guys think, guys. I like the idea that EA tried it. I don't know what, they could do a couple of things to improve it, of course. Like maybe make the leveling a little bit faster, or maybe add more consumables. Ideally, more consumables would be better. But other than that, guys, let me know what you guys think about these archetypes 2 months into the game. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.